The VW camper van will soon be a collector's item. It's going out of production at the end of this year. Brazil was the last country still making them, but new safety laws there mean all new vehicles must be fitted with airbags and anti-lock braking, and that's not possible in the VW. So Susanna's gone outside to meet two British enthusiasts and their vans and find out how they feel about it. Morning, Suze.
Morning outside here. It's still a little tiny bit grey, but look at these fabulous camper vans here. And Bryn Clark is somebody who makes a living from them. Morning, Bryn.
Morning.
Very good morning to you. What do you think about the fact that these vans are no longer going to be produced in Brazil?
I think it's sad, but I mean, to be honest, I'm more of a fan of the original 1970s.
And here we have a lovely model here.
Yeah.
Why do people love them so much?
I think it's the styling and the design of them, and you know, they're iconic. You know, they're fun to be in. I mean, everybody's welcoming
And presumably, if production of new models stops, then someone like you, who sort of deals in renting out older models, it's good for your business, isn't it?
I think it's great, yeah.
Now, someone who really loves them, Tom Durr, who joins us here alongside a very special model. Very good morning to you. You love the VW so much that you got married in one.
We did indeed about 6 weeks ago. My wife and I tied the knot in Ireland, and it only just made it. We had to take the engine out the day before and fix the clutch.
Oh, that sounds awkward. Well, congratulations. You've very recently married. Is this the one that you got married in?
This is Bruce, yeah.
So tell us about Bruce and why it's so special to you.
I've always wanted a camper van since I was a young boy. My wife and I, about 4 years ago, managed to scrape enough money together to afford one. And it's been a big part of our lives ever since. We've travelled away on quite a few road trips.
What I like about Bruce is Bruce is very much in touch with his feminine side, isn't he? Should we go and have a look?
My wife's touch, yeah.
Talk us through him. How many people can you fit in here?
Legally 4. There's only 2 seat belts in the back and 2 in the front, obviously, but at a push we can get a bit more of a crowd in there.
Shall we go and see how comfortable it is?
Absolutely.
Here we go. Right, you go in first, as it's yours. Is Bruce comfortable?
It is, yeah. It's very comfortable to sleep in as well.
Oh, is it? So how do we turn this into, obviously we won't do this now, but how would we turn this into a sort of nighttime operation?
Well, basically we put the roof back on for starters, and then this bench...
I don't know, it's quite nice to look up and see the stars.
It would be, but it gets pretty cold.
Yeah.
The bench we're sitting on as well, that pulls out and it makes a full-length bed, which is just about long enough for myself.
So, is it pricey?
It wasn't pricey to buy, it's pricey to maintain. It's definitely a bit of a money pit. But it's a labour of love.
Yeah. Yes, OK. And if there are no new ones, the value of yours goes up, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we don't intend on selling it anytime soon, but when we do, I'm sure the value will have increased.
How fast can it go?
About 50 at a push.
Well, it's lovely. I have to get up to the studio, so I'm going to say goodbye to you. Thanks very much indeed, and leave you with Bruce. And I'm coming back to see you, Bill. Here we go. Oh, it's just starting to rain.
It's given me an idea, though, Suze.
Yeah?
We could go on a little breakfast tour, couldn't we, in one of those?
Oh, what a lovely idea. Little
Yeah.
sort of breakfast trip.
Yeah.
OK, stand by for after the programme.
Her heart's beating
Oh,
fast. The VW camper van will soon be a collector's item because it's going out of production at the end of the year.
Steph's gone outside with 2 enthusiasts and their van, so if you've ever wondered what she gets up to after an early start on breakfast, you may be just about to find out. Morning!
Good morning, everybody, from the inside of a very comfortable, I have to say, VW camper van. Might be a little bit small, but hey, it's certainly good for 40 winks or so. But yes, there have been 10 million of these made since they were first developed in 1963 in Germany, and they're kind of famous with young people back in the 60s and 70s because they were quite cheap back then. It would cost you about £850 for one. If you want to buy that same camper van now, you're talking about paying £30,000 for it, but they're having to stop production of them. Have a look in the front and I'll explain why. It's all to do with the safety element of the camper van, because as you can see from the steering wheel, there isn't really a place to put an airbag, and that's a bit of a problem for them because obviously the safety issues these days, it means that you can't really sell new cars and new vehicles that don't have airbags in them. There's also a problem as well with putting in the locking brake system. They can't do these on these vans without restyling the whole things, and that obviously makes a big difference. So they're stopping production of them, but I've got a couple of enthusiasts with me this morning who can tell us a bit about how important they are to them in their life. First of all, Bryn, good morning to you, Bryn. Now you rent them out to people, don't you?
I do, yeah.
What do you think about production stopping?
I mean, I have preference to the ones built in the 70s, the proper German Volkswagens. So, you know, it is a sad day, but it doesn't really affect me, to be honest, you know.
For you, it must be actually good news, though, because it means if there are fewer of them, you'll be able to put your prices up a bit.
Well, I expect so over the time, yeah, let's hope so, yeah.
And also, the safety element of this is obviously something, that's the reason why production's stopping. Is that something that worries you?
Well, I mean, the vehicles were designed in the 60s and made in the 60s and 70s, and they're very basic in design, and I think that's part of the appeal.
And also they hold a special place in your heart, don't they? Because actually, before your life even began,
yes,
this was an important part. Tell us why.
Yeah, I was actually conceived in a Volkswagen camper van, yeah.
There you go. Without embarrassing your mum and dad, we found out where you were conceived. Thanks very much, Bryn. Well, I've got another enthusiast here with me. We've had someone conceived, now someone who got married in one, and we can talk to Tom. Good morning to you, Tom. Let's have a quick look round this then, because this is all your design, I guess, the green colours. You and your wife decided on this?
Well, yeah, we put a lot of work into it. I have to say my dad did most of the interior work, and we're really pleased with it, but it's definitely a special part of our lives.
Yeah, and you got married, didn't you, using this van? Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, recently, about 6 weeks ago, we took it over to Ireland, and it drove my wife to the church, and the two of us on from there, but we did have some troubles just before we went over on the ferry. Had to take the engine out and do some serious...
To take the engine out when you were in the middle of trying to get married?
No, just before we got the ferry.
Just before?
It was, yeah, it was a big panic.
What's that like, though? Because they do have problems, don't they? And they're quite expensive to run, aren't they?
They are, yeah, and there's, it's definitely a labour of love, but it's also an investment. They hold their value, and it's certainly a joy to drive, so it's not something you have a tough decision to make when spending money on.
And you certainly must have a lot of fun in them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for letting us have a peek inside. I'll let you have it back. Now, that's it for me, but I couldn't leave you without going off in one. See you later.
Don't let Steph drive.
No.
There we go. Take it away, Bryn.
And it started. There she goes. We'll see you in about 3 weeks' time.
Who's going to do the business news tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. Dom.